On 8 March 2014, Flight MH370, an aircraft of Malaysia Airlines, was ready to take off from the Malaysian capital Kuala Lumpur. 2 pilots, 10 cabin crew, and 227 passengers were present on that flight. Most of the passengers were from China, and both the pilots were very experienced. Captain Zahiri had 33 years of flight experience, and co-pilot Farouk was a junior pilot with 7 years of flight experience. It was a completely routine flight running between Malaysia and China. Flight MH370 was supposed to fly for 5 hours and 34 minutes, but before takeoff, it was loaded with fuel with which it could fly for 7 hours and 41 minutes. The day was 8 March, and the time was 12:42. When this flight took off from Kuala Lumpur as per routine, the first pilot, Zahiri, was in direct contact with the Kuala Lumpur Air Traffic Control Tower. On takeoff, the aircraft changed its direction towards the South China Sea, and after 20 minutes, the transponder on the aircraft sent its current GPS location to the Kuala Lumpur Air Traffic Control Tower. This is the automatic function of the transponder to send its current location to the nearest radars after a short period. Till now, everything was going according to plan, but after 10 minutes, when the aeroplane left Malaysian airspace and entered Vietnamese airspace, the control tower in Kuala Lumpur contacted pilot Zahiri for the last time and said this. This means that now Flight MH370 should contact the control tower in the Vietnamese city of Ho Chi Minh. The Captain Zahiri heard this message and also replied to it. Now it normally happens that, until the plane reaches its destination, it stays in contact with the air traffic control tower of any major airport coming in its way. And similarly, it was expected to happen here also. But after 3 minutes, the airplane had completely disappeared from the radars of both Kuala Lumpur and Ho Chi Minh City. But this was completely normal for Kuala Lumpur Tower. They thought that airplane had now entered Vietnamese airspace. But when the Ho Chi Minh City Control Tower saw Flight MH370 disappearing from their radar, they felt something was wrong. They immediately tried to contact the captain, but no one responded. For the next 18 minutes, Ho Chi Minh Tower tried to contact airplane but still got no response from the captain. And then Ho Chi Minh City Tower contacted Kuala Lumpur Tower and briefed them on the situation. Now normally in this condition, the rescue center has to be informed within an hour, but the Kuala Lumpur Control Tower informed the Aeronautical Rescue Coordination Center after 4 hours, and by then it was too late. It was 6:15, and this was the time when Flight MH370 was scheduled to land in Beijing. There was a hope that the aircraft might land in Beijing at the correct time. But no positive news came from there. At 6:32, a search operation was started at the exact location where the plane disappeared. 34 ships and 28 aircraft from 7 countries started searching for that flight on the border of the Gulf of Thailand and the South China Sea. But unfortunately, there was no information about the aircraft. By this time, the whole world knew about this incident, and investigation teams of many countries also became involved in the search operation. No one was really able to understand the reason behind the sudden disappearance of the aircraft. This search operation continued for the next 4 days, but still there was no trace of the aircraft. But then on the 4th day, a news came that shook the entire rescue operation team, when Flight MH370 disappeared from the radar at 1:21. It had only disappeared from the civilian radar, but remained on the radar of the Malaysian military for the next 1 hour. According to military data, after disappearing from civilian radar, the aircraft started moving to the right for a few minutes, and then it took a U-turn and turned back to Malaysia. After 31 minutes, the aircraft crossed the Malaysian city of Penang and then turned towards the Malacca Strait. The airplane was last detected up to this point in the Indian Ocean. After this, the aircraft neither showed up on military radar and nor on civilian radar. The entire rescue team and every person associated with this plane were only trying to solve this mystery. The rescue team that was earlier looking for the plane in the Gulf of Thailand and the South China Sea, now they have started their search in this part of the Indian Ocean. But there was no information about the plane here also. After the few days, information received about the airplane, which again changed the whole situation. The airplane disappeared from the military radar at 2:22, but there was a satellite with which it was in constant contact. With the help of the data saved on this satellite, experts performed a complex calculation, and finally the next move of Flight MH370 was also identified. It was found that Malaysian aircraft again took a turn after disappearing from military radar and kept flying over the Indian Ocean in the same direction for the next 5 hours. At 8:19, the aircraft tried to connect to the satellite for the last time, and this was the last signal from that airplane. After this, neither did the plane contacted any other satellite, and nor did it showed up on any other radar. According to investigation, the plane's connection to the satellite was lost after coming to this curved spot in the Indian Ocean. It's mean, after taking off from Kuala Lumpur, flight MH370 plane took a full 8 hours to reach this curved spot, and the total fuel in the aircraft was also only this much. So there is a high chance that Malaysian aircraft might have crashed into this curved spot. This highlighted curved area of the Indian Ocean is bigger than the whole of India. A deep-sea search operation was started here. It was very important to find MH370 because until the plane and its black box are found, it will remain unknown what happened inside the aircraft before the crash. But after 3 years, the deep-sea operation was finally stopped because more than $160 million was spent on this search operation and not a single information of the plane was found. But in year 2015, a year after the plane's disappearance, the plane's right flaperon reached the beach on the island of Reunion. When this flaperon was investigated, another horrible reality was revealed. Experts believe that this flaperon was not extended when MH370 crashed into the water. And sadly, this means that while crashing on the water, the aircraft fell into the sea on its nose. Many other parts and scrap of the plane were found on the shores of Africa during the next several years, and there was no clue found about the plane or the passengers. But in February 2022, after 8 years since the disappearance of MH370, the aircraft was once again expected to be found. Richard Guthrie, a retired British aerospace engineer, has claimed that he has found out the actual location of the plane through weak signal propagation analysis. And surprisingly, the pinpoint location by Richard is present in the same curved area of the Indian Ocean. Richard believes that the debris of missing Malaysia Airlines is lying 4,000 meters below the ocean surface. Only time will tell how seriously Malaysian authorities take the claim of this retired aerospace engineer and whether a new search operation is launched at this location or not. Please share your comments about this incident in comment box and also subscribe our channel for new videos.